Are you planning a trip to New Zealand but you're a bit overwhelmed with where should I go or where should I start? Perfect! I just did 3 weeks of camping in New Zealand, driving from the South Island to the North Island. So let's just jump right into it. We started off by renting our RV in Queenstown. Queenstown is known for being the adrenaline place and known for their fjords and mountains. It looks like Norway, so I did not really bother taking the time to do a little loo and see it. I would recommend that if you're not used to the mountains and the fjords because it is beautiful. I just know that by heart. But I did start in Queenstown. From there, we went straight to Itinerary. It's almost the only way to start your road trip up the South Island to Itinerary. We did not sleep there though because it is not that many free parkings. We went to Lake Taupo and slept there for the night. It was such a beautiful view to wake up to. It was so many camping vans as well, so it felt like a little community from Lake Taupo. It was so easy to get to the first hike, Silly Tarns Track. Pretty rough hike, I would say. It is 2,260-ish steps to get not even all the way to the top, but to like the first top. And then from there you can keep going on your hike, which we did, and it was hard. You get sweaty because it literally goes like this, but it is so freaking stunning. It is one of the best hikes I've done in my life, and I've done a few. Then from there we went to Akura. Our main reason to go there was because we wanted to see penguins, but then you had to do a whole tour to see those penguins, which we weren't that interested in. It doesn't have more than Lighthouse. If you have time, do it. If you don't have time, I would recommend just skipping that one, but it's still a cute little place to visit. From there, we went to Christchurch. That was the first time we had to go to a RV park because we had to get power to the car. We wanted to take a shower after the hike, fill up the car and make it ready to go because at that point we were running on nothing. The RV park in Christchurch is super good. It's called Holiday Inn. If you book with them, you also get discounts on the ferry tickets. Just a little for anyone on a budget. Christchurch in itself is such a cute place. We went to a aircraft museum, went to an art street, walked around for a bit. Cozy, but a day was enough. We then started our journey to one of the best drives I've ever done. I'm just smiling thinking about it. It's called the Arthur's Pass. Probably the most beautiful way to go from one side of the island to the other side of the island, still in the south. So we started the drive midday-ish, and then while driving up the mountains, the sun was setting, and we were just driving in this beautiful sunset. The mountains were just like popping up. It was just beautiful. And we decided that we were gonna park the car and just stay there for the night so that we can enjoy Arthur's Pass even more, because it's quite far to drive. So the next day we jumped in the car, got ready, and it's so stunning. It's so many different sceneries that you drive through, so definitely use your time there. After driving for quite some time, we went to the Pancake Rocks, and we stayed there for probably way too long, but it's just so interesting to see how the earth is able to shape rocks and the nature in general. Then we ended the night at Truman's Track Beach. Definitely a nice spot to see the sunset, have a chat with whoever you're driving with, or if you're alone, just have a moment for yourself. It was time to move on, and we went to the seals on the Red Rock. It is definitely worth the drive and see the seals. It's something cool about seeing animals just in their natural habitat. We then ended up staying in Westport, which is just a beautiful little town. Has a thrift store, has a library, one restaurant, which is known for having the biggest burger in New Zealand. From there, we went to Blenheim, which is a region known for having super duper good wine, and they have heaps of wine tours, which is very popular. If you're interested in wine, go for it. If you're not, literally go to Pack and Save and just buy some wine from the region and have your own wine tasting, just like we did. We stayed in Blenheim for a day, and then we went to Picton. Picton is known for one thing, their ferry. So that's where you get your ferry from one side of the island to the other. We went from the south to the north. Also, a hot tip is that since we did not prioritize seeing the mountains and the fjords in Queenstown, we felt that we got that feeling when taking the ferry. Just keep your eyes open and you'll get a feeling of how stunning New Zealand really is. Then we got to Wellington, and Wellington is the capital of New Zealand. It's not Auckland. Shocker, I know. It's such a vibrant city, in my opinion. So when we got there, we just went straight to a comedy show, which was hilarious in itself. And then the next day, we wanted to go to the museum, which they are super, super known for. It's called the Te Papa Museum, and it has an insane rating on Google. I think it's 4.6 stars. It's like 10,000 reviews. I get the hype. It was so interesting to see why New Zealand is the way it is, also what could happen in the future, why it has so many earthquakes. It just gives you a better understanding of the country. Then we went to Mount Victoria and saw the view there and just had a little walk around. So Wellington was good for a day and a half, I would say, and we made our way up to the Tangerinian, I think it's called, Alpine Crossing. We did not do the crossing that day because we needed some time to drive up and just like mentally prepare ourselves. The next day, started the hike and it was beautiful, especially coming up to the top. But it was snowing on the day when we did it. We could only go up and down the same side instead of going up and down the other side. But that was no problem at all. We managed. All good, no worries. The water is as blue as the photos. Insane. And nothing really beats a good hike with a good view. After that, we were just too tired, so we stayed close to the Alpine Crossing that night as well. Before finally heading to Taupo, because we decided we wanted to do skydiving. Although I know New Zealand is known for bungee jumping, I think it's where it originated from as well. Taupo is known for having incredible skydiving, and it was incredible, 10 out of 10. Also, we did go to a hot spring called Huka Falls, which was beautiful, and just the fact that you could be on top of the mountain with snow one day and the next day you're sitting in a hot spring in your bathing suit is just one of like a million reasons to why I'm literally falling in love with New Zealand. Moving on, we went to Kerrison Creek, which is a local tip that we got. It's also a hot spring, like literally in the forest. Like, it's so random. And after that, we went to Rotorua. This is the place that's known for Maori culture. So we went to a Maori show. I would definitely recommend going to one of those shows, just also to get some culture in there as well. We stayed in Rotorua, and then the next morning we went straight to Bay of Plenty, which is, honestly, I think that might be the favorite place in New Zealand. We did a hike up the mount, I got it here, Mount Maungi, and we saw the sunset from the top of that mountain, and it was just incredible. It was so nice, and everyone kind of went up there to see the sunset as well. And then you had some crazy Kiwis running up there, and I was like, why are you guys so sporty? Also, seeing the sunrise from the beach called Papamoa Beach, also a huge recommendation. I mean, it's not that much going on necessarily, but it's just so beautiful with the mountain and then the beach. It's just the scenery. From there, it's a 4-hour drive to Auckland, and we're like, yep, we gotta get our asses to Auckland. So that's what we did. In Auckland, we stayed for 3 nights. I met up with some family friends, and then we also met up with some people we met on our hike in Silatarn's track, and they showed us around. We saw Mount Eden. We got to know so much about how it is to live in New Zealand as a Kiwi, and we saw all the volcanoes that are still, some of them are still active, some are not. It is so nice to have a local showing you around and explaining everything to you. We had to give our car away in Auckland, and literally from the car shop we walked to the airport 6 minutes, and then we just flew to Australia from there. So freaking easy. So that was kind of our route in New Zealand. I felt that I kind of covered a lot on this trip, and I've managed to do South and North Island without feeling like I was rushed. I did put in 4 days of just random stops that I could do, so not planned days, and I would recommend doing that as well, because you never know what's gonna happen. I will see you guys next Sunday in another video, but for now, take care!